So you clicked on this video because you want the real truth about Stardom's 5-star Grand Prix Finals. Well, luckily for you, I just watched all 10 matches, and I'm about to tell you exactly which matches are worth seeking out and which matches that you should skip. I'll give you a complete breakdown in the next few minutes of every match rated, the 2 absolute must-see matches to see, and the brutal, honest truth about whether this 8 out of 10 show actually earned that score. Now let me start with the opener. Bea Priestley and Stars taking on Hate in a 6-woman tag. This was exactly what it needed to be. A 2.5-star sprint that got the crowd warmed up while building towards Bea Priestley versus Saya Kamitani for the World of Stardom Championship. The key moment here wasn't the action itself, though Saya's hook spike finish did look devastating. It was more so the post-match stare down that felt completely organic. Sometimes the best storytelling happens after the bell rings. But here's where things get interesting. The first semi-final between Azumi and Rina completely exceeded my expectations, hitting at 3 3/4 stars. Now think about this. Both wrestlers knew one of them had to perform later, yet they still delivered this level of quality. Azumi showed exactly why she's considered one of the best in the world right now. That hook destroyer finish was picture perfect in my opinion. But what impressed me more was how they built up genuine drama with those near falls. When Rina hit that raid crash, the crowd genuinely believed that she might have advanced. Now the second semifinal between Momo Watanabe and Sayori Inoi tells a different story. This one was 2 3/4 stars, and here's why that matters. That bat spot everyone might dismiss as random violence, that was essential foreshadowing for the main event. Sometimes what looks like mindless house of torture nonsense actually served a bigger narrative purpose. The middle portion of this card is where things got formulaic, and I need to be honest with y'all about this. The Cosmic Angels vs Empress Nexus Venus tag match was standard Stardom booking. Decent action that built up to a post-match title challenge setup. This one here got 2 1/4 stars. Perfectly acceptable, but nothing memorable. Now the 3-way with Saki Kashima, Yuna Mizumori, and Mei Seira, that one was pretty much 1 star. It pretty much needed more time to develop any meaningful story. The Dark Silhouette and FWC versus Mi Vida Loca tag match pretty much provided something that the card desperately needed at that point. A different type of pace. This here gets 2.5 stars because sometimes slowing things down can actually help the overall flow of the show. The crowd's negative reaction to Rina Samashita in particular added an interesting dynamic without derailing the match. Now here's where the show started building the momentum again. God's Eye vs Neo Genesis was 2 3/4 stars because they did have time to develop some basic tag team formula. Starlight Kid naturally drew crowd sympathy, and that's just her as a performer. And Tomoka Inaba's heel hook submission finish pretty much protected both teams while establishing that dominance. The future of Stardom title match between Haina and Rana Yagami earned exactly what it should have, and that's 2 1/4 stars. Pretty much the title speaks for itself, and both wrestlers perform at the appropriate level for that division. Sometimes meeting expectations is exactly what you need. But now we reach the 2 matches that justify this entire show's existence, and this is where I need your complete attention. Syuri versus Konami for the IWGP Women's Championship delivered 4 1/4 stars. Here's what elevated this beyond the typical hard-hitting action. The crowd's mixed reaction to Syuri created that genuine tension. She's pretty much viewed as an outsider to Stardom, and that dynamic added layers to every near fall. Now that chair shot looked absolutely brutal, and my thing is I'm hoping that chair was gimmicked, because we all know about the CTE stuff. But within the match's intensity, it did fit it perfectly. Syuri retaining was the correct decision, pretty much setting up future challenges while establishing another strong title defense. Which brings us to the main event, Momo Watanabe versus Azumi for the 5-star Grand Prix Finals. This one here gets 4 1/4 stars as well. And here's why this match worked so brilliantly. It built up on every story element from earlier in the night. Now remember that bat spot from the semifinals? When Hate tried to interfere and Momo rejected their help this time, that became the match's turning point. Character development happening in real time during a wrestling match. That's storytelling at its finest. Azumi wrestling twice and somehow delivering a better performance in the finals than her already really good match in the semifinals. That's why she's considered elite at just 23 years old. That code red from the top rope genuinely had me believing she might win the entire thing. The finishes sequence with multiple German suplexes building the Momo's hook plant bomb created that kind of drama that makes the tournament finals feel important. And here's the bottom line that most reviews won't tell you. This was professional wrestling competence executed at a high level, not transcendent art. My 8 out of 10 rating stands because those final 2 matches absolutely delivered what they promised, and Azumi's double performance created a genuine highlight reel. But here's the gap in most wrestling coverage. Everyone either tells you everything was amazing or everything was terrible. The truth? This was Stardom doing what Stardom does best. Another solid day at the office with clear standout moments. If you found this breakdown valuable, go ahead and hit that like, hit that subscribe, and share this video out with your friends. And for that, I'll see y'all later.